One of the things that has most bothered me about this administration that we currently have is that there has never been any real clear foreign policy that was ever spelled out to the American people in respect to any portion of the globe outside of the Democratic Party platform, which was titled "The World We Want." Incidentally, the same policy can be found on the United Nations website using the same title in the search engine. That said, the policy least known is the Middle East foreign policy of the Obama administration. I will provide some links which provide clear enough evidence to show the precise plan for the Middle East and a direction as to where it came from. On June 4th of 2009, less than 5 months after taking the oath of office, President Obama gave a speech in Cairo, Egypt. You'll see that posted on the screen here right now. The article is titled "Remarks by the President at Cairo University, 6409, the White House." This is from the Office of the Press Secretary, the release of that speech that he gave in Cairo. You can read this, and what it's going to do is it's going to basically tell you that in this speech, Obama outlines a plan for the Middle East to the Egyptian people, and he also requested the presence of the Muslim Brotherhood be allowed to attend at this particular speech. The title of the plan that he's outlining in the speech is not identified, but during the course of the speech, Obama promises to create a fund to implement its plan for the Middle East and vows that there will not be an escalation to a nuclear arms race. I believe this was a reference to a plan to address Iran's nuclear ambitions. Nothing appears to happen on the promises Obama made in the Cairo speech for a while, but on May 19th of 2011, President Obama gives a speech, and that one is going to be the following page here. Remarks by the President on the Middle East and North Africa. This was released on May 19th of 2011, and as you can see, once again, that comes from the Office of the White House Press Secretary. And anyway, but on May 19th, 2011, President Obama gives a speech in which he is discussing supporting transitions to peace in countries torn by war resulting from the Arab Spring of 2011. And he also refers to building on his commitment to Egypt during his Cairo speech from June 4th of 2009. Many of the talking points in this speech not only are identical to the talking points from the Cairo speech, but they're also identical to another speech which was given in London. Now, also in the month of, let's see, we need to go to May, May of 2011, a former employee, and we're going to go to that individual. This is a former employee of Clinton Global Initiative. I'm not sure of the pronunciation. It is spelled Husseyin, first name Gun, second name, I believe it's pronounced Hussein Gun. He gave a speech based on a pamphlet that he published, which was titled "Creating a Middle Eastern Economic Community," at a group called Global Strategy Forum. But anyway, I want to show you this. This is the gentleman's name, Hussein Gun. He's a financier and managing editor at Avicenna Capital, and that comes from Mayfair, London, United Kingdom. This information is coming off of Zoom Info, and it gives some background information indicating that he's a founding board member on the Iraq-Britain Business Council. He's a founding trustee of the Omar al-Mukhtar Foundation for Libya, which was a functional foundation during the time that we were involved in Libya, but has since then seems to have no access to the links there. It also indicates that he is chairman of the advisory board on Global Fairness Initiative, and that particular organization, President Bill Clinton, was the founding chair on that initiative. He was also an executive member of the International Advisory Board on Global Strategy Forum. That is an organization in London, and I'm going to pull that up. It was in London, in which the UN Secretary General Kim Moon comes from himself. That can be found in one of the articles that we're going to bring up briefly here. We're not going to go into large detail on them. But anyway, if you read the information on Goon, you'll see his relationship to the Clintons, and you will also see that he also sometime after leaving Clinton's organization, Global Fairness Initiative, went to work for Global Strategy Forum in some form or fashion. I believe it was maybe some sort of a policy advisory type role. He also is performing similar functions at the United Nations. Now, on the Global Strategy Forum, what we're going to get to on this one is that 2011 speech, the one that was given in May, just days apart from the Obama speech of 2011. And the talking points on this particular speech are almost identical to the talking points that Barack Obama gave in his Cairo, Egypt speech and the May 2011 speech. But anyway, this particular one, we want to look at the particular article that was that he had the speech on. We've got to go under GSF Publications and then scan down till we come to this article right here. It's called Creating a Middle Eastern Economic Community by Hussein Goon. Now, Hussein Goon's pamphlet, I think this is important to pay very close attention to what I'm about to read here. Hussein Goon's pamphlet, published in June 2011, advocates a program of economic aid to the Middle East on the scale of the Marshall Plan with Turkey. Now, that date about it being published on June 11th would be after it was already discussed with the Obama administration. Hussein Goon's pamphlet, published in June 2011, advocates a program of economic aid to the Middle East on the scale of the Marshall Plan, with Turkey, the region's largest and most dynamic economy, taking a leading role. Basically, they were the overseers of this particular fund. As Lord Lothian says in his foreword at this meeting where they're discussing this particular plan, it is a powerful argument which deserves to be taken seriously by all of those who want the ideals of the Arab Spring to take root and flourish. I'm delighted to be associated with it. There's a link below the article there, that brief intro, where you can click and download Creating a Middle East Economic Community. Now, we also have to look at one other article, or maybe a couple more articles. Anyway, one of those is on June 2nd of 2011. That one, Hillary Clinton gives a speech. It's posted on the U.S. Department of State website. Secretary Clinton receives the 2011 George C. Marshall Foundation Award. Now, this foundation is centered around the Marshall Plan. And if you remember what the Marshall Plan was, that was where countries around the world donated billions of dollars to restoring Europe after the end of World War II, to help them get back on their feet and reestablish their economies. Now, Clinton is receiving an award for something that she has done here. And anyway, the speech itself, it focuses on the history of the Marshall Plan, and then it goes into a discussion about investments into Iraq, and it also touches a little bit on the Arab Spring. And I think upon reviewing all of these, you'll see the Obama-Clinton Middle East policy, however, is not a policy which identifies how this policy benefits or is in the interest of the U.S., and it is not crafted or put together by anyone within the U.S. And the reason I say that is because if you go to an article here, it's CSID email, it's found on ikhwanweb.com. It's IKHWAN web.com. It's an article that is posted by Tom Paine, and the individual who wrote the article was Shadi Hamid. And in this particular article, Shadi Hamid is indicating, let's see where it is. This is what he's suggesting that the U.S. do. He says, announcing publicly that the U.S. relationship with the Middle East will be restructured around and defined by countries' commitment to political reform and democratization. This would be accompanied by an extensive public diplomacy campaign to explain to audiences the change in policy and its implications. That has everything to do with the speeches that I just discussed about Clinton, Goon, and also the Obama speeches. Establishing a clear set of guidelines and expectations for each country that receives substantial economic or military aid from the U.S., as in the Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, other countries. This would be coupled by an understanding that there is no one-size-fits-all solution for the region. Different countries will be dealt with differently based on their particular needs and circumstances. Establishing an ambitious, well-funded initiative on the scale of the Marshall Plan, which will offer a comprehensive package of incentives for any Muslim country that demonstrates clear progress on a set of pre-established political markers, including freedom of expression, free elections, and respect for opposition rights. Now, why is any of this important? Well, the reason this is important is because the campaign promises that Barack Obama made, talking about fundamentally changing the world, this plan that was published by Hussein Goon is that plan that he was referring to when he was talking about fundamentally changing the world. That promise had absolutely nothing to do with anyone here in America. Now, the other thing is there are also a couple of other articles that that are found on the Muslim website, the ikhwanweb.com website, in which they were following, the Muslim Brotherhood has been following pretty much the career of Barack Obama since he became a senator in 2006, or began running to become a senator in 2006. And that is also something. It is also about the same time frame that Shadi Hamid is discussing this Marshall Plan program. I don't think that any Americans really understand the impact of this. I think that a substantial amount of our debt, these trillion-dollar debts or budgets that we've had, there's been a substantial amount of U.S. wealth that has gone out to this particular fund and been distributed out to these various countries. If you look at those various countries, it may actually tie into the book that came out called Clinton Cash. You will see the names of the countries that were signed on to the Arab Spring, and the implementation of this policy are also the same countries that are listed as having been Arab donors to the Clinton Foundation.